Hey y'all, what's up? My name is Devontae and I sacrificed my time so you don't have to. Okay, so lately I've been getting a bunch of criticism from a bunch of people telling me how I keep going after AEW and never holding accountable WWE. You know the usual. Oh, Devontae, you don't like AEW. Oh, Devontae, you just a partisan AEW fucking hater. Oh, Devontae, you love WWE. Oh, you just a motherfucking WWE. Buy you a E-drone, this, that, and the third. Never mind the fact that I literally have a video that wasn't even made a couple of months ago called what? Fuck the Triple H era. Hasn't been that long ago. I think I made that video back in fucking April. Never mind the fact that I hold WWE wrestlers in the promotion accountable for a bunch of other terrible fucking things in regards to the booking or shooting in the company overall for their outside endeavors. Never mind the fact in regards to Triple H, my hatred for his booking can go all the way back to 2021 when he was running NXT. A bunch of factors that people like to ignore because either A, they're new, or B, they know these things but they just try to ignore it because it just complements their narrative whenever they get butthurt about whatever opinion I say about the companies. But nevertheless, one thing that is true that I have not been talking about WWE as of late. But I would definitely say, and I've said this in the past, that has nothing to do with me as much as AEW has been in the limelight a hell of a lot more than WWE from shoot purposes. The shoot and the negativity are things I like to focus on because that's just what my channel is. It's a pessimistic channel. It's a very cynical channel. Look at my description box. Look at my fucking about page. Okay, I tell you outright that I'm a negative person, negative channel, and I don't throw out positivities like Dave Meltzer throws out 7 stars. I like to give them bitches out when they have fucking earned it. But nevertheless, though, like I said, have been talking about a lot of AEW stuff lately, so we're going to repurpose our focus on Triple H right about now. And we're going to use this list right here. Boop! See it on your screen? I'm a magician. Grr! I got some categories that I just came up with off the top of my fucking dome, thinking to myself, I think this is a perfect way to judge Triple H as to whether or not he's been a good booker, a good promoter, a good head, whatever the fuck you want to call him. And I'm going to do it out of a 10. Meaning if he gets straight 10s, which he won't, and he gets 100, which he won't, it would mean that he's one of the greatest promoters of all time. And as time starts going on, or as fucking points starts going on, anything within the 90 range is an A, anything within the 80 range is a B, anything within the 70 range is a C, anything within the 60 range is a D, and anything within the 50 range and below is a complete and utter failure. Now, you may know this obviously as the report card system in the United States, also known as you being Billy Madison and staying back too many times in daycare. Don't judge me, I'm just the guy judging you. But we are going to use this as the platform as far as how I'm going to judge Triple H. So with that being said, can we kick it off with the first category if you guys don't mind? Let's see here, the quality of shows. I think for the most part, when you look at Triple H as far as how he ran Raw and SmackDown this year, by the way, I'm going off of his booking from January going forward, considering that I feel like this is his first full year without Triple H, or excuse me, Vince McMahon being over his shoulder. So if you're like, Devontae, why aren't you judging 2023? And it's because Triple H most likely was getting advice from Vince McMahon. He might even still be getting advice from Vince McMahon right now. But considering he's running the show and Vince McMahon is nowhere to be found at all, period, point blank, I feel like this is his first time running it without anybody leaning over his shoulder going, I don't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that. Maybe they're doing it right now, but it has no influence. At least if he doesn't want it to have any influence. So we're using this year as the talking point. But back to what I was saying, quality of shows. Raw and SmackDown this year have kind of switched places. You look in the beginning of the year, Raw for the most part was kind of unwatchable, and then SmackDown was the more watchable of the two. And then as time starts to progress on, especially after WrestleMania, Raw became more of the watchable show versus SmackDown became one of the more unwatchable show. So you can definitely look at that as more of a mixed bag in regards to how you want to judge it. And I would definitely say nothing was really must-see in my opinion in regards to both shows. You may have a handful of shows here and there, but overall nothing was really must-see, even though you can acknowledge the fact that Raw has been getting better. And not to mention that SmackDown was better at a certain point before WrestleMania. So I'll definitely give my boy a 6 in regards to that. I think that's a fair score to say. Maybe even closer to a 5, but I'll be charitable considering Raw right now is actually pretty damn good. I'll say a 6 out of a 10. The quality of the PLEs. So this is a little bit more, again, just at the quality of shows. Going to be based off your opinion and how you feel the shows were going forward. I remember the Royal Rumble not being all too good. I hated the Men's Royal Rumble for the most part. I think that's a show with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. I think I liked that match. I think the Women's Royal Rumble was actually better than the Men's that year, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of disappointed by the Fatal 4-Way match. The Elimination Chamber, hated Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax, although the undercard was pretty solid, especially the Women's Elimination Chamber match. WrestleMania was solid this year, one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time with Roman and Cody. I thought Night 2 was just fucking kick-ass in comparison to Night 1, which I didn't like all too much. Although I did say that I liked the tag team match with Rock and, Roman and Cody and stuff to set up for the next night. Backlash was a kick-ass show. That's still my favorite show of the entire year. And AJ and Cody had one of the best matches, if not the best match of the year. The King of the Ring show was kind of if I remember correctly. Not horrible, but not really all that good either. What was the June show? Was that Money in the Bank? I feel like I'm forgetting another show. Oh, Clash at the Castle, right? That was another show, if I remember correctly. Nothing that was really grabbing your attention, but not really horrible also. And then you have Money in the Bank, which I thought was actually a pretty fucking terrible show. One of the worst shows of the year, in my opinion. So, I would definitely say his PLE as far as the qualities of it. Really, this year has only been, as far as great shows are considered, I'd probably say WrestleMania and Backlash were pretty damn good shows. Backlash being a fucking awesome show in my opinion. But then everything else was kind of, wayside. So I'd probably say probably another 6. I think that's fair to say. How many wrestlers are truly over underneath the Triple H regime? I think the only fair way to do that is by looking at the roster, right? But let's actually look at the active WWE roster. Let's see, go on Wikipedia. They always have things a little bit more organized over there. We're going to go with the Raw division. Let's see, the Authors of Pain, or more in particular, what do they call this? The Final Testament, or whatever the fuck they're called. They're fucking boring as shit. Let's see, Akira Tozawa. So we'll just say fucking Chad Gable's old group, boring as shit. Braun Strowman, what the fuck is he doing? Braun Breaker, they're. We'll see how SummerSlam goes. They fucked them up after the Money in the Bank. Bronson Reed, nothing. Brutus Creed with Chad Gable. I think it was a terrible decision to put them together right in the middle of Chad Gable, now starting his feud with the Wyatt Six. I think that's terrible. Why would you do that? That was horrible fucking booking in my opinion. Carlito, who cares? Chad Gable, although he's getting the push of his career, I still think there's more you can do with him, but I'm willing to wait. But his book has been okay so far. CM Punk, he's CM Punk, what more can you say? Cruz del Toro. So overall, just the people within Legado del the LWO. Rey Mysterio's a separate entity, but even then though, no, they're not really booked all too well. If anything, fucking Zelina Vega's booked better than the entire stable right about now. Damian Priest, they're doing their best with him, I'll say that. They're trying, but Dexter Lumis, obviously the Wyatt Six overall. Dominic Mysterio, obviously the Judgment Day. You want to take into consideration Damian Priest also. Very well booked, probably the only well booked stable in the entire fucking company outside of the Wyatt Six and the Bloodline. Drew McIntyre, great booking, obviously probably one of the best booked superstars currently going right now. Gunther, obviously one of the best booked superstars going right now. So we got about 2 superstars, maybe 3, and you can count the stables. Let's see, Ilya Dragunov and the Judgment Day. Jey Uso. He's super over, but not because of WWE in my opinion. I think Jey Uso, that's all because of Jey Uso more so than WWE in my opinion. Obviously, the New Day is still as fuck. There's nothing you can really do about that. 10 years going strong. What can you really do? Ludwig Kaiser. I know he's injured. I think his ribs are fucked up. Yeah, his ribs are fucked up. Seeing it right here. So, but he's been booked decently. The Miz, former tag team champion, really hasn't been doing much this year. Not really his fault as much as it is, what can you really do with someone who's been around this long and has really nothing more to show for his skills and attributes. But I like The Miz. I just think that there's so much you can only do with The Miz in 2024. Odyssey Jones, who the fuck is he? I know who he is, but seriously, who the fuck is he? Pete Dunne doing this thing right now with Sheamus, just trying to do something with him now that Tyler Bate is injured. Talked about Rey Mysterio already. R-Truth, same thing as The Miz. Sami Zayn, one of the better superstars in the company, which is insane to me. I don't hate Sami Zayn, just, his booking is just fucking incredible to me as far as, why are you putting so much stock in this guy? Not that I have a problem with Sami as much as I have a problem with just his booking overall. I just don't get it. Seth Rollins, always going to be protected by Triple H. Sheamus, talked about him earlier. And you look at the women's division, I'll just say everything in regards to the women's division overall. They've been booked relatively fair, although I will say that they are doing one. I think SmackDown women are getting more time than the Raw women, because I mean, with the Raw women, all you essentially have is just what, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, fucking Damage Control, and Sonya Deville's lesbian stable. As far as SmackDown is considered, one can say the same thing. I don't even know what the fuck is going on in SmackDown as far as the women's division. Bayley as a women's champion has been one of the most disappointing booking decisions I've been seeing all year. You look at the SmackDown division for the man, AJ Styles, been booked relatively well this year, in my opinion. Andrade, no. Legado del Fantasma, no. The Street Profits, no. Apollo Crews, no. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, just sort of, kind of, but not really. Baron Corbin, forgot he was even there. Bobby Lashley, he's literally about to leave. Carmelo Hayes, no. Cody Rhodes, again, it depends on your perspective. I say personally, no. I think he's been booked in the sense that, you know, he's been a strong champion. But as far as being fun, I personally don't see it. That's just my opinion, though. Elton Prince and what's the other guy's name again? I forgot the other guy's name. Elton Prince and Kit Wilson, right? Pretty Deadly, nah, not really. I mean, I would like for them to be booked a little bit better, but nah. Giovanni Vinci, I think he's still injured, right? Or at least he's like been banned. I didn't even know he was on SmackDown. Jacob Fatu, obviously the Bloodline is always going to be strong. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, they're tag team champions right now, but I forgot they were, if it means anything. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, I mean, fuck, they're on NXT. That's how lacking of who cares a fuck, gives a fuck about them is considered. Kevin Owens, he's always going to be Kevin Owens. LA Knight, relatively speaking, yeah, especially with the Logan Paul stuff, which, speaking of Logan Paul, you just heard my thoughts on that. Randy Orton, he's Randy Orton, he's always going to be Randy Orton. Shinsuke Nakamura, nope. And that's about it. Yeah, so if I had to say overall, as far as how many people are truly over, honestly, it's the Bloodline, maybe the Wyatt Six, Cody, Punk, Cody. Well, I don't even want to say CM Punk because he's a legacy act. I'm not going to say Punk. I'm not going to give him Roman Reigns. I'm going to say not even really Cody Rhodes, to be honest with you. That's kind of a, stretch. But I'll say Cody. I'll say Drew McIntyre. I'll say the Bloodline. And I'll say the Wyatt Six, honestly. And maybe Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day. And maybe Liv Morgan. That's really about it. Which, if that's going to be the case as far as people who are truly over, people care to see, that's got to be like a 4 at the very least, right? No? What, anyone agree with that? I think people may disagree with that, but I think it's a 4. I think he's been very terrible. I think he's been good as far as giving them TV time, but as far as like, quality booking for the characters and themselves, it's an AEW problem. He focuses way too much on wrestling to get the people over, in my opinion. I mean, it's less egregious than AEW, but it's still an AEW-esque type of problem. The crowd quality. Honestly, almost every fucking crowd in the United States this entire year have been dead as fuck. Right? Almost every crowd you've been hearing that's been good have been the international crowds. So, I mean, that automatically has to get at least like a 3, right? Right? No? I mean, how many fucking... Even some of the international crowds haven't really been that hype. I didn't like Scotland at all. Honestly, it's just France that I can remember that really stood out really, really well to me. Yeah, just honestly, France. I'm trying to think. The Canada crowd was surprisingly pretty lame this year also. France was fucking amazing. Australia was pretty lit from what I remember. Nah, not even Australia was all that good, to be honest with you. Yeah, crowd quality has been fucking dog shit. Like, the United States have been terrible over year, like all around all year. And then the international crowds, they're a mixed bag. Really, I can just think of France that really stands out to me. Innovation. What has Triple H done that has been super innovative since his run? No innovative match. I like his camera angles. His camera angles have been on point. His production value has been the most innovation I've been seeing since his start. But outside of that, which I'm going to give something heavy to, because I think that's very, very important, the production value. I think that alone should get him at least a 6. But outside of that, though, no, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything new as far as the, outside of the production stuff. I can't think of anything groundbreaking. I can't think of any matches he's created. I can't think of any shows that stand out. Honestly, yeah, as far as innovation, I'll give him a 6 just based off of the quality of the production stuff, right? Memorable moments under his belt. Has anything memorable happened underneath Triple H's belt that anyone can think of? Honestly, can any of you guys from this entire year kayfabe wise, can you remember anything that's special that happened this year that was really, really cool and stood out and was insanely fucking awesome. I think, obviously people are going to go to the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes stuff, but that's a given. I mean, do you really want to give that to Triple H? Anybody who would have beat Roman Reigns for that championship belt would have been considered like all-time greatest moments. That's just going to be a given. I mean, if you want to give that to him because he was involved with the bloodline stuff since the very beginning, I guess maybe, but I'm not going to give that to him. As far as memory is considered, I don't really see anything special about anything that Triple H has really been doing since his time in regards to like creating moments. I'm trying to think. Honestly, I can't think of anything that really stands out to me all too well. He's been playing it safe the entire time, so he's definitely gonna get like at least a 3 on that. I maybe even a 2. I'll give him a 2 on that. He's actually been terrible in that regards. As far as stats are considered, as far as like audience as far as audience ticket sales, what he's been constructing behind the scenes, I think you have to give him at least an 8 on that, right? Triple H has been fucking cooking in that regards right there. I mean, look what he's doing right now with all these overseas international deals. I mean, almost every time he does a house, it's always selling out, right? He's got in companies, I mean, not as if Vince wasn't doing it, but not to this degree, bro. Like, you got companies all over, or cities, states, all over the fucking country, even in different countries, bidding to take WrestleMania on, bruh. Hell, you got them bidding to take on some of the B shows, for God's sakes, bruh. They had a bid on that French show. You guys know that, right? For Backlash, they had a bid on that shit, bruh. Yeah, they've been crazy from a statistical standpoint. Now, granted, one may argue that some of their numbers as far as breaking the record gate has more to do with the inflation of the tickets, and that's something that you can't really ignore. But you still can't get over the fact that they still bought the tickets, right? I mean, you can say inflation all you want to. People still bought the tickets. Those audiences still exist, and they bought those tickets. So I think he's been amazing from a businessman standpoint. That's just my opinion, though. Anticipation for his handling. By that, I mean anticipation for anything in regards to what he's been booking as of late. That means the build to the shows. Were you looking forward to it? In regards to some of the shows coming up, did he give you any cliffhangers that made you think to yourself, like, fuck, I can't wait to watch this show? Any superstar returns that he built up that you said to yourself that you couldn't wait to see? I think he's been very mixed in that regards also. When you talk about the build, I think the stuff with Cody and the bloodline with The Rock is about as peak as you're going to get in regards to Triple H in that manner right there. You can argue the Wyatt 6, but I think that took way too long and it lost its muster. I mean, granted, I think they delivered when they finally arrived, and I think the cliffhanger for it was pretty good, but some of the bloodline stuff as far as the members joining, like, Tongaloa, Tamatanga, eventually Jacob Fatu. I think people anticipated Roman Reigns coming back at SummerSlam is a good thing also. Oh, you know what? I'll be fair. I'll say the anticipation in regards to his booking, in regards to how he's been doing his shows as of late, I think that's a solid 7, in my opinion. Not perfect, but not bad as well. I think he's been actually pretty good. Now that you say it out loud, it's actually not that bad. Solid foundation for the future. When you guys think of the things that Triple H have in place, do you think that that's going to be good for future talent? Like Braun Breaker, how he's currently being booked right now, is he going to be in a safe position in, say, 3 or 4 more years, right? How he's booking Raw and SmackDown right now, especially with the Netflix deal coming. Do you think Raw is going to be watchable? Do you think it's going to be something that self-sustains itself? Do you believe that some of the superstars on both brands, Raw and SmackDown, in regards to their future, are they going to be something that's worth wanting to watch? Do you think, because I've been thinking to myself as far as the Fox deal is considered, that WWE is doing the bare minimum in regards to Fox because they know they don't have a deal with them anymore. I think they're actually going to start cooking again once they come out to the USA Network. That's just my opinion. So I'm a little bit more lenient on this as far as the foundation is considered. Obviously, NXT, he's not, Shawn Michaels runs NXT, but it's not as if Triple H doesn't have a hand in that also. I think the future looks bright for WWE for the most part. I'm actually willing to give him, that's probably one of his highest grades. I'm willing to give him a 9 in that regard right there. I think what Triple H has in place going forward, whether it's like structurally as far as the company is considered, in regards to creatively as far as the company is considered, in regards to the depth of talent, especially young talent in the women division, I think Triple H has a great grasp. Now, granted, the booking for some of the talent that happened to be on the current show could be a lot better, and that's what's holding them back from being a 10, in my opinion. It still doesn't take away from the fact that, yeah, what the guy's currently doing right now is nothing that I would call offensive, right? If anything, it's a credit to his ability as a guy who's been underneath Vince McMahon to actually cultivate the environment and the manner as to how he's been doing it, in my opinion. And then finally, we get to him in comparison to his competition. You can talk about TNA, which even then that's kind of a grass because they're kind of partners right now. So we'll focus solely on AEW. And in my opinion, when you take AEW versus WWE, it's night and day in regards to the product. I think AEW has nothing going for it. I don't think AEW, in my opinion, has nothing worth looking forward to at the moment. I think you can look at certain things like Toni Storm and Mariah May as far as being a good feud, which it is. For the women, I think that's probably one of the best women feuds going strong today. Well, second. I think Rhea and Liv is a little bit better than that. But nevertheless, though, it's still strong for that company. But I think that's a problem. When the women is your strongest feud, and hell, one may argue the second strongest feud is Britt Baker and Sasha Banks. When the women are your strongest feature for your card, I think that's a huge fucking problem. I think you gave away MJF and Will Ospreay way too early. I think the things in regards to Swerve Strickland being a world champion is completely buried and irrelevant. I think all his other champions there's just way too many champions in general to give a fuck about. In comparison to WWE, as far as stories are considered, WWE has way more better stories in my opinion. You look at CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, you look at the things that are currently going on within the Bloodline, you look at things that are going on currently with the Judgment Day. I think the Wyatt Six, obviously, and obviously, as I talked about before with the foundation going into the future, there are people who I'm looking forward to as far as most likely feuding as time starts going on, like Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, for an example, right? Possibly Roman Reigns and someone within the Bloodline, maybe Solo, maybe, Jacob Fatu, for an example, who are going to be other members of the Bloodline as we start going forward to War Games. And Sami Zayn going to start getting involved with Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso, where is he currently at the moment? I know he's injured, but like, how is he going to play a part? There are certain things I'm looking forward to in WWE that hasn't even happened yet, more so than the things that are currently going on in AEW. And obviously, from a statistical standpoint, it's night and day, and that's not even worth fucking talking about. That's obvious that WWE is completely murking them in that department also. So I think in regards to comparison to the competition, as far as what WWE is currently doing at the moment, if we're comparing which one is better, clearly WWE is better, but I mean, like, as far as what will be a number that I would put on that in order to describe how much they're destroying them, I think, honestly, that's about an 8. I think that's an 8. Only reason why I won't give it a 9 or a 10 is because I don't believe WWE has really done much since coming out of WrestleMania. Even though they're better than AEW, they haven't really done much since coming out of WrestleMania. Not to mention, you look at their ratings, they are decreasing. Which is, a given, considering that we're about to go into football season, considering that we're now over WrestleMania, and considering that SummerSlam is, about to be over with right now also, and Roman Reigns wasn't around this entire time. I think it's a given, but, I still think in comparison to AEW, well, yeah, I think they're a better product overall. What do you want me to say? So, when we take everything into consideration, we're going to add this up now, and we're going to see where does Triple H lie in regards to his booking. So, let me pull up my calculator on my cell phone real quick. I gave him a 6. I gave him another 6. I gave him a 4. I gave him a 3. I gave him a 6. I gave him a 2. I gave him a 8. I gave him a 7. I gave him a 9. I gave him an 8. And overall, I think, he fell short of 60 in my opinion. Yeah, looking at it right now, he fell short of 60. Is that everything I got? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, that's 10. He's at 59 in my opinion. So, hey, like I said, the rules are the rules. Yeah, Triple H, in my opinion, I guess going off of that metric right there, you guys may have a different opinion. You can tell me how you feel down in the comment section below. I think Triple H has been somewhat of a failure. Yeah, when you take everything into consideration and you average it out, he is better in some areas that he isn't. But for the most part, so far, since he's completely taken over the book this entire year and Vince McMahon has been completely out of the picture and worried about all his lawsuits and stuff like that, since Triple H has taken over, you can make an argue that he is below average. You can argue going off of this that he is absolutely a failure. What do you want me to say, man? What do you want me to say? I just make the rules and then I follow them. I think this was a completely structured facet as far as how I conducted this. But, I mean, you tell me. You see the screen right here. What are things that you believe that I got wrong? Do you believe that other areas he's better in than I really gave him credit for? Do you believe that there are certain things that I should have lowered him in? I don't know what you want me to say, but rules are rules. And Triple H, in my opinion, is a terrible booker. Terrible promoter. Think he's a great businessman. Can't take that away from him. But as far as creative is considered, nah, not really. Not my cup of tea. But I'm going to let you guys discuss that in the comment section below. How do you feel about what I just said right now? Let me know your thoughts down and talk amongst each other. Don't forget, later on tonight, it's going to be the AEW Dynamite review. So be there or be square. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. A deuces and a P eyes.